You know, there are places on Earth that feel like they're pulled from both ancient myth and science fiction at the exact same time. It's a land of just impossible scale, where these gleaming glass towers literally pierce the clouds, casting shadows over temples that have been standing for centuries. This is China, a civilization truly defined by its epic contradictions.
So that's really the big question we're going to explore, isn't it? How can one single nation hold its most distant, ancient past and its hypermodern future all in the same breath, in the same moment?
To even begin to wrap your head around China, you have to start with the sheer human scale. We're talking about over 1.4 billion people. Just think about that for a second. That's more than 1 out of every 6 people on the entire planet. Each one with a life, a story unfolding inside its borders.
And this incredible population lives on a canvas that is just immense. Almost 10 million square kilometers. That makes it the 3rd largest country on Earth. It's a land big enough to hold everything from sprawling deserts and towering mountains to dense jungles and megacities that just scrape the sky.
But see, China's scale isn't just about people or land, it's also measured in time. Deep beneath the buzz of the 21st century, there's this ancient bedrock, an imperial history whose echoes you can still hear in everything from its politics to its art.
What's just so remarkable when you look at this timeline is the continuity. Yeah, dynasties rose and fell, of course, but the idea of a unified state, a central kingdom, has somehow survived for millennia. From the very first dynasties, way back around 2000 BCE, through more than 2,000 years of emperors, right up to the modern republics, this is a story of incredible resilience.
And this civilization didn't just survive, it shaped our world. I mean, think about the technologies that literally built the modern era. Paper and printing? That changed how we share knowledge forever. The compass, which opened up the entire globe for exploration, and gunpowder, which completely transformed conflict. These weren't just inventions, they were China's gifts to all of humanity.
So you might be wondering, what was the cultural software, the operating system that ran this civilization for so long? For thousands of years, a huge part of the answer was Confucianism. It's really more than a religion, it's a social framework. It emphasizes order, family, and this is critical, getting ahead through education and merit. The idea that you prove your worth through grueling exams, well, that's a concept that still powerfully echoes in China's super competitive schools today.
Okay, so you have this ancient foundation, right? Millennia of history, and that set the stage for something absolutely extraordinary. Because in just the last 40 years, it's been like a seismic shift. It's as if China slammed its foot on the accelerator and launched into one of the most rapid, breathtaking transformations the world has ever seen.
And this chart, well, it shows you the sheer velocity of that change. Back in 1978, China's GDP was just $150 billion. Fast forward to today, and it's skyrocketed to nearly $19 trillion. That's not just growth, that's an economic explosion on a scale we've never seen before. It lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty and completely redrew the world's economic map.
A huge piece of that explosion was China becoming, well, the world's factory. Right now, China is responsible for nearly a third of everything manufactured on the globe. The phone in your pocket, the clothes you're wearing, the electronics in your home, yeah, there's a really good chance they pass through this incredible engine of production.
And this incredible economic engine was built on a landscape of ancient ambition. Just picture the China of our imagination, the Great Wall. It's a monumental feat of engineering built over centuries to define borders, to project imperial power. It's a symbol of ancient, inward-looking strength.
Now, contrast that with the China of today, the largest high-speed rail network on the planet, a web of steel and electricity that stitches the entire nation together. It's a symbol not of keeping people out, but of moving them forward at incredible speeds. The difference between these two massive projects, well, that tells you the whole story of China's journey.
But it's so easy to see China as just this one single thing, a monolith. The reality, though, is so much more complex, so much more colorful. We have to look past the headlines and the big numbers to see the rich human tapestry that actually makes up the nation.
So while the Han Chinese are the vast majority, that other slice, about 9%, represents 55 officially recognized ethnic groups. That's over 125 million people. That's a population larger than most countries on Earth. And each group has its own unique languages, cultures, and traditions.
And probably the most delicious way to understand this diversity is through food. We say Chinese food, but there's no such thing, really. There are at least 8 major culinary traditions. From the famously bold and fiery flavors of Sichuan to the fresh, delicate dim sum of Cantonese cooking, every single region tells a completely different story on your plate.
This cultural diversity is perfectly mirrored by a geographic diversity that is just as staggering. I mean, the vast, dry deserts and the towering, snow-capped Himalayas in the west and north, they feel like they're on a different planet compared to the lush, subtropical forests and the packed coastal plains of the south and east. It's literally a country that holds multiple worlds within its own borders.
So, here we are. We've got ancient history and hypermodernity. We've got unity and incredible diversity. And this all brings us right back to that central idea, navigating the great contradiction that really defines China today.
And maybe the greatest contradiction of all is the one happening inside its modern economy. You have the urban coastal China of places like Shanghai and Shenzhen, gleaming, rich, globally connected. And then you have the vast rural interior, where life moves at a totally different speed, and where development has been much, much slower. These two Chinas exist right next to each other, a nation of contrasts within itself.
There's this quote that I think just nails the challenge here. We often try to understand China through the lens of a modern nation-state, like France or Brazil. But its scale, its history, its sheer cultural depth, it makes it something more like an entire civilization operating under the banner of a single country.
And that leaves us with one last huge question. As this ancient civilization continues its unbelievable modern rise, which force is ultimately going to shape its destiny? Will it be the immense gravitational pull of its 4,000-year history, or will it be the relentless, forward-looking speed of its ambition? That is the contradiction, and it's right at the heart of China's story.